You are the executor or personal representative for an inherited home, and that home is full of a lot of belongings, a lifetime of belongings between furniture and dishes and tools. And now you're asking yourself, should we hire an estate sale company? So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about when you should hire an estate sale company, and we're going to touch on the when in terms of timing, and then the when in terms of situational. And there is going to be a time too where I'm going to tell you it's not necessary to hire an estate sale company. So let's get to some of these points that I have for you. Number one, we're going to talk about a timing situation. If you have even an inkling that you are going to need an estate sale company, I would like for you to make sure you call them early on. A lot of times people make the mistake of starting to call around when they think they're ready for them. Like, okay, we're going to get the house on the market here in a couple weeks, only to find out that these estate sale companies are booked out weeks and sometimes even months, depending on the time of year and their availability. So just even if you think you might need one, start right from the get-go and get them in the door and start interviewing them. I am going to touch on questions you can ask them next week's video. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that right now. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when that one drops. But those will be some good questions for you to ask of estate sale companies. But in the meantime, get them there early so that you're not in the backlog of their schedule. Okay, situational. When is a good time to hire an estate sale company for your situation? This could be a situation in which you're not in the same state as the home that needs to be sold and all the belongings are in. Or you've walked into the home and just the sheer volume of the number of items in the home. This is going to be a good point where, yeah, you're going to definitely want to probably get an estate sale company involved. I'm going to go through just some of the things that the estate sale company is going to do. And when you're not in the same state as the home or the belongings that you're trying to sell, or you've walked in and you're like, what are we going to do with all these things? Like there's not enough listings on Marketplace to try to sell or even give away all of these items. So this is some of the things that the estate sale company is going to help you with. Sorting. They're going to research the value of some of the items. They are going to do the pricing. They're going to do the staging. So a lot of times they're going to set the house up like a store. So I don't know if you've ever been to an estate sale, but you have your normal house with your living room, dining room, etc. What they do is they kind of push things up against the wall with tables, and then they kind of create sort of like a goat trail through the house to keep the people moving through the house, which takes us to them managing the shoppers. That's something that they also do. So they're going to have a starting point for the people to come through and an ending point, which is typically right by their cash register. So we're collecting payment. Sometimes they're negotiating prices, they're advertising, and then a lot of times they're coordinating pickup as well. So if you've got like a bedroom set in the back of the house, but there's no way you're going to be able to get that bedroom set out of the home till like maybe the end of the sale, they're going to coordinate all those pickup times with those customers. Needless to say, it's a lot of work, and the estate sale companies handle it all. So if you're worried about timing and the stress of all of it, yep, just go ahead and make the call to an estate sale company. But first, before you do that, this is going to be an important point for those of you that are in a probate situation. So if you've heard any of my previous videos, I know I've touched on this at least in 2 of them, and I will at least pin one of them above and then also both of them in the description below. But if you've seen those videos, you hear me talk about the duties of a personal representative. And one of the duties is going to be getting a value of all of the property as part of the estate inventory of assets. So before you have the estate sale, make sure that you are getting that inventory of items. Next point, not every home is going to need an estate sale. I have a story for you. I feel really bad, actually. I had gotten a call from a client who was ready to sell an inherited property. And I hadn't been to the house yet, but just in conversation, she was talking about, what do I do all this stuff? Should I try to sell this stuff? And yada, yada, yada. So I called Jolene, one of the gals that I know that runs an estate sale company. And I said, hey, I'm going to be running over to this residence. Would you mind going with me and meeting me there and see if it's worth having an estate sale? Well, when we got there, I really felt bad because I felt like I totally wasted her time because I hadn't been there yet. I was just trying to kill two birds with one stone because the client was only going to be in town for a little bit. She lived in New York. The residence was here. And come to find out, the condition of all of the furniture and the belongings were old, tattered. Most of the furniture was torn or stained. And even the dishes, a lot of the dishes had little chips in them. And, toaster, oven, all the little small appliances were not worth even trying to sell. So if you're walking into a situation like that where nothing was well taken care of, it's probably just better off calling like a junk haul company. If you don't live in the state, especially, and you're like, I don't, what am I gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to run a U-Haul, and then I'm gonna take everything to the dump. It might be easier for you to just call a junk removal company. We have them all over the valley. They're super easy to schedule, and they don't take as long to come to you as an estate sale company does. Last point is going to be talk to a realtor also early on. Especially if you're going to be selling the house as well as the belongings inside, it's really important that the two of them are communicating. If I can tell you right now, every estate sale company is going to know a realtor. Every realtor is going to have a preferred estate sale company because they kind of work hand in hand. We can't, if the items in the home can't be sold with the home and the estate sale has to happen, trust me, there's a lot of coordination going on there. So it's really imperative that you get that real estate agent involved almost immediately as well, because they can help kind of hold your hand. This is extremely important if you don't reside in the state or the city in which you're trying to sell the property and the estate. Just don't try to do things alone. It's so easy nowadays with Marketplace and things like that to try to do things by yourself, but there's a lot to it when you're trying to get rid of all of the belongings in the home, all of them, because there's only going to be the very rare case that you're going to be able to sell some of the furniture in the home. That's very rare, and those are the times that you want to talk to that real estate professional. That's what I do. I'm a real estate agent here in the Arizona area, and I'm talking to people all day long. Well, can we sell it furnished? Not with that furniture. Or we don't really know what to do with all the furniture. I'm like, well, let's just see if the buyer wants it first before we try to get rid of it. Of course, if the home is like full of items, and then it's probably better to get an estate sale company in there early. So these are all conversations that you want to have with your real estate agent. And if you don't have one here or in your town and you need your city, you need somebody to make that connection for you, feel free to reach out to me. I can certainly refer you to an agent that deals with estates and probates in your area. Okay, so now that we've decided, yep, we need to hire an estate sale company, how do we pick the right one? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's what we're going to cover next week. Next week, we're going to talk about the questions that you should be asking an estate sale company. Estate sale companies work off a commission. So another reason why you want to make sure that you find out whether or not the belongings in the home are going to have enough value to them to sell. So we want to make sure that we get you with the right one. And especially if you're out of state and you're like, I don't want anything left in the home. So we need to make sure that you're asking the right questions of an estate sale company before you do hire them. So make sure you do tune in next week. You can certainly subscribe. I would love that. And then also ring that bell so you're notified when that video does drop next week. And of course, if you got any value out of this video, I would love it if you would give it a little like, a little thumbs up. That helps the viewers know that this was a good video. And if there's anything I can help you with at all, please, by all means, drop a comment below. All my contact information is in the description as well. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm an open book. I'm going to be able to help guide you and at least get some questions answered for you if that's all you have. All right, until next week, have a good day.